My question before I move to them. Are you in support of new licences for the North Sea?
Well, I'm in favour of working with the oil and gas sector to ensure that all of the decisions we take...
Are you in favour of new licences?
Let me finish...
But you're not answering the question. You didn't answer it the last time I asked it. Are you in favour of new licences?
Well, I want to make sure that every decision we take has got a climate compatibility test attached to it. That's the crucial issue we've got to take.
Are you in favour of new licences?
I've given you your answer, which is we've got to have a climate compatibility test on every single decision we take in relation to the oil and gas sector.
That's a no. John Swinney and the SNP are against new oil and gas licences. Just say it. Be honest, John.
Well, I'm in favour of a climate compatibility test because
so
Douglas...
you would be against... Just very quickly, because
Douglas,
if I can, just with all due respect, John.
Just let me finish the answer. What you're going to do, Douglas, is turn your back on the transition to net zero. And the journey to net zero has got to be delivered, but it's got to be delivered in a managed fashion. And the recklessness of the tax hikes that you're undertaking are undermining investment in the North East of Scotland as we speak.
Let Douglas have a say.
So we've had about 4 minutes now. Colin's asked twice. I'm going to ask for another time. Are you personally and the SNP in favour of granting new oil and gas licences? Yes or no?
I'm in favour of there being a climate compatibility test on every single answer? Well, because we've got to judge, Douglas, the right things to do in terms of the transition to net zero. And you are ignoring the reality of climate change, which is going to affect all of the communities of Scotland. We can't turn our backs on that, Douglas.
It feels like we started the cross-examination early here.
Your party's turned its back on the realities facing our country.
Hang on, Alex Cole-Hamilton.
Colin, I think what we've just seen here is an example of two parties that have been in power for far too long. And we're at this situation, nowhere near the just transition that we need, and that transition is baked into the geology of the seabed of the North Sea. And these parties have been bereft of ideas. They've not driven down reliance on fossil fuels, and they've not taken the steps to bring about that just transition. I met a guy who works on the rigs, high up on the rigs, and he can't get certificates to do high work on the wind turbines because the red tape's in the way. This is easy wins that we could have.
This is not just about North Sea oil and gas. This is about central Scotland as well. Grangemouth, for example. Very quickly, we've only got a minute. What would you do to save Grangemouth?
Well, we need to recognise the importance that represents to our economy.
What would you do to save it?
Well, I think we need to make sure that the workforce there have a viable future, and we should, if needs be, work together across the political spectrum to bring...
What would a Conservative government do to save it? Because it's not done anything so far.
Well, they are working with the Scottish government.
Yeah, but you haven't done anything so far.
Well, there has been efforts by both the Scottish and UK governments to come together.
Nothing so far.
And there's also been support for the union campaign to get behind the workers there to make sure there's a viable future for Grangemouth.
John Swinney, what would you do to save Grangemouth?
I build on the steps that were already taken to engage with the management of Grangemouth and the workforce to bring them together and to work with the UK government where we can to secure the necessary route through this. Grangemouth is a vital...
You wouldn't step in and take it over or anything like that? You have done with companies before.
These are plants that operate in the private sector, and we've got to secure the private investments required to sustain its future.
We would step in and put our money where our mouth is and invest in...
Would you step in to save the refinery?
We would step in to save the jobs at the refinery and to invest in that transition by making an energy transition hub at Grangemouth, and we would put hundreds of millions of pounds behind it to make it a reality, to protect those jobs and build Grangemouth for the future.